Concentrate. Take in all that is around you. Let's go again.
I have reason to believe the Empire is still a threat.
We face another war. Let's begin.
Ahsoka Tano. Anakin spoke highly of you.
Get ready. Nice trick. Got any more?
Ahsoka 2-episode premiere.
Hello there. This is where the fun begins.
What's up, guys? Unofficial Star Wars here. Hope you're all doing well, and welcome to my Ahsoka episode 1 and 2 reaction video. I just finished watching the first 2 episodes to Ahsoka on Disney Plus, and this video I am going to be sharing my overall initial first reactions and initial thoughts here. So it should also go without saying that yes, there are spoilers ahead for the first 2 episodes of Ahsoka. If you haven't already, go check it out. It is honestly beyond amazing and was totally worth the wait, and the hype is totally real for it. It definitely scores in all of the right areas, and I can't wait to see the rest of this show expand on all of it, so go watch it if you haven't already. Moving on to my actual initial thoughts and reactions. If you can't already tell, I'm beyond excited because that was just beyond amazing. The first 2 episodes serve for exactly for what a episode kind of premiere is supposed to do for a TV show, and it sets things up. Where is this story going to go? What is the story going to be about? Who are our characters? Where are the characters during this kind of time here, especially for Star Wars with how the Star Wars timeline is working? Ahsoka takes place after the events of Return of the Jedi and has been presumed to be taking place alongside the same exact time as The Mandalorian Season 3, but I don't think that's necessarily the case. I'll talk about that in a different video, but it is probably close. But anyway, as I had mentioned, the first 2 episodes of any TV show are supposed to serve that purpose of setting the story up, setting our characters up, and kind of what's the deal, what's the situation here, what is our show going to be about. And that is exactly what Ahsoka's first 2 episodes do, serving as to each other almost as an arc, similar to what we saw with the Clone Wars animated show, of how every 3 episodes was kind of its own mini story, or also referred to as an arc. The same thing had been done for Andor with season 1, as every 3 episodes was referred to in its own mini story, almost of an arc. And although I don't believe that every episode of Ahsoka is going to be doing this, as we don't really see this with other Mando-verse shows, like the other Mandalorian episodes, or with the Book of Boba Fett, maybe even for Obi-Wan Kenobi, although that's outside of the Mando-verse, we don't really see those 3 episode arc kind of stories or mini stories within these 8 episode shows. I really believe them to all serve as one linear kind of story, and that's exactly what they shoot for and exactly do here, especially with Ahsoka, although I will say these first 2 episodes of Ahsoka very much do complement each other very well, and the kind of sorts of storytelling for when it comes to an arc. One thing is for sure is that I would not have been able to wait a whole week for episode 2 to come around after seeing episode 1 for sure, as we see Sabine Wren at the end of episode 1 actually get stabbed. That totally caught me off guard. I was just what? This has to be some type of dream or something that's actually maybe taking place, but it wasn't. I knew that she was going to be okay, because based off of the trailers, we do see her later down the road with the shorter hair, which we also see by the end of episode 2. But really just seeing Sabine get downright stabbed really caught me off guard, and honestly was really cool. I think it's going to do a lot for seeing her grow and go forward, and I can't wait to see that rematch that she will have with the Shin-Hati character, who is Baylan Skoll's apprentice. I also think that we'll see more with her and her overall character, Shin-Hati, and that maybe she will actually reform back to the light side of the Force. For those of you that may be confused, Baylan Skoll and Shin-Hati aren't necessarily Sith, but yeah, they are bad guys, and they aren't necessarily Jedi. They're actually referred to what's called as Dark Jedi. Ironic, I know, right? They are somewhere in between all of that mixture of things and aren't necessarily either Gray Jedi. We do also see that they have very specifically done orange lightsabers instead of the red lightsabers to make that difference for these characters. A little bit was elaborated on with Baylan Skoll into the regards of his past of actually being just a Jedi youngling or Padawan, Jedi Knight probably, towards the end of the Clone Wars, and having vanished and kind of turning his back and dipping into the dark side of the Force. I think the best way to describe these 2 characters of these Dark Jedi are very similar to what Mace Windu had been. As Mace Windu has a purple lightsaber, this is a mixture between blue and red, obviously, as Mace Windu was able to, at times, tap into the dark side of the Force. I'll have another video talking about these Dark Jedi characters in a separate feature video here on the channel, channel, all the more reason to grab that subscribe button if you haven't already. And on top of that, if you haven't already, go comment down below your thoughts and opinions, your overall initial thoughts and reactions in the comment section down below. I'd love to discuss with you guys. Before discussing some more with episode 2, I just really overall want to acknowledge the overall quality done with this show. This show, Ahsoka, stands out comparably to every other live action Star Wars show as its own. It doesn't necessarily even feel like a show. It feels more of a special at that, and it was created with much special intention, being directed from Dave Filoni, the showrunner of the overall show here as well, having been the writer of the show and the creator of these characters. Ahsoka very much does bring on some type of movie vibe almost, especially with episode 1 and its prologue of showing that red text at the beginning, giving us circumstances of what's going on exactly, was very cool, and it very much sets that tone and that theme of what Ahsoka is. It's supposed to be a very special show, and that's exactly what Ahsoka is, and it's going to set a lot of things up going forward for the rest of the Mando-verse, as I had mentioned earlier on, that this connects to all seasons of The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett, and also Skeleton Crew for whenever that show's going to be dropping. These are all a part of what's called the Mando-verse, by which a lot of fans think that Ahsoka is going to lead directly into Dave Filoni's newly announced Star Wars movie as a Mando-verse movie, as a culmination of all of the events that we have seen here with all of the Mando-verse shows. This had been announced a little bit earlier this year at Star Wars Celebration. While I think and believe that the Ahsoka series will do that, there is room for an Ahsoka season 2, very much so. That has been teased a number of times previously before. I have another video discussing and talking about that here on the channel you guys can check out as well. Okay, so a little bit about episode 2. Episode 2 definitely brings on those stakes and really shows that clear-cut direction of where the show is actually headed, and it really sets up the pacing of the overall show here as well. Mind you, we still have another 6 episodes to go, and I firmly believe that none of that is going to be wasted. We are going to see action all throughout, all killer, no filler. There's really no time to waste here. Throughout both of these episodes, but more specifically towards the end of episode 2, we see this whole dynamic between Sabine Wren and Ahsoka. This has also been something that's been teased throughout different trailers for the show here as well, and they really bring it full circle with episode 2, making that relationship of Ahsoka and Sabine Wren more firm, with bringing these characters back to that master and apprentice regards that they had been on previously before. It was something that was kind of touched on a little bit here and there throughout the show with these first 2 episodes. If you didn't catch on to that, I just wish that they elaborated a little bit more on with that, maybe gave us like a flashback sequence of some type. But I do believe that the point gets across of that after the events of Star Wars Rebels, Ahsoka takes on Sabine Wren as her Padawan. It's also confirmed that Sabine Wren is not Force sensitive, as it had been previously teased at in a way, or a lot of fans have been thinking that she was going to actually be Force sensitive. This is proven that she isn't Force sensitive in episode 2. She is, though, still, however, taking on that Jedi training, as she is something that she just really wants to do, and Ahsoka is kind of going along with it. So as I had also mentioned a little bit earlier on in this video, seeing her pick back up with that Jedi training and that lightsaber combat, I think really more specifically, and then seeing that rematch between her and Shin-Hati is totally going to be amazing. Lastly, with episode 2, just as an overall thought and initial reaction here, of that we see firstly, I don't think this has ever really been discussed or discovered here throughout any Star Wars lore, but I very much well could be wrong, so let me know down in the comment section down below, of multiple galaxies. In the beginning of every Star Wars movie, it has always been in a galaxy far, far away, into reference of one galaxy. And though, however, with episode 2 of Ahsoka, we learn of that there are actually multiple galaxies, of by which are very difficult to obtain or actually get to, and that's exactly what kind of the premise and the goal of this show is that we are going to see some of these characters make their way to an entirely different galaxy to retrieve back Grand Admiral Thrawn and presumably Ezra Bridger as well. I believe this to be a very fascinating point, and I want to discuss this in a separate feature video here on the channel in more depth and in more detail. Also, let me know in the comment section down below if that has been something that has been talked about or referenced in other Star Wars lore before, of there being other galaxies out there. I'm very curious to know about that and learn more about that with the Ahsoka show overall. As I had mentioned at the beginning of this video, this are just a few of my quick initial thoughts and overall reaction to the first 2 episodes of Ahsoka. I'll have another video for episode 1 and for episode 2 as a full-on breakdown into the regards of everything that you might have missed throughout these episodes with Easter eggs and different references. So hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and that notification bell to be notified for when those videos are coming out. We're also discussing and talking about all types of Star Wars related news, leaks, rumors, theories, and breakdowns here on the channel, by which if you guys are interested into any of that, all the more reason to grab that subscribe button. Guys, let me know all of your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. I want to know your initial reactions, your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below about Ahsoka and its first 2 episodes. What are you guys looking forward to seeing for the rest of the show? I would love to hear what you guys are all thinking in the comment section down below. Of course, this has been Unofficial Star Wars. Thanks so much for watching today's video. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great one, guys. May the Force be with you as always. Peace out.